Hi YouTubers, welcome to another episode of All Things Triumph Tiger 1200 Explorer. Now this is the second part of our breakdown series, and today the first step in diagnosing the problem is to use a diagnostic tool, and I have the Triumph dealer tool. So the dealer tool plugs into the bike's plug-in there, the diagnostic plug-in, and it comes back to the computer's USB port down there. And so what we do, first of all, we're looking for fault codes. We want to make sure that it can connect to the device. We go to the ECU data, and just to read the ECU data. This will just show us whether the ECU itself is working. So I've got the bike's ignition on, which is what you have to have on. Okay, so it's reading the data, which is a good sign, and it's come up with the ECU serial details. Yeah, and so that's great. So now we go back to main page, and now we can actually, there are quite a few screens you can look at. So you can look at sensor values. So all the electronic sensors on the bike, they have a reading. So if any of the sensors are showing 0, then there's probably a problem with that sensor. So you can run through all the pages. The injectors, you have to actually turn the engine over to get a reading. And I have done that, and they all show a positive reading. So they all show a positive reading. Obviously, sorry about that. Obviously, they you're not going to be showing any road speed. Let's get rid of all the antivirus. Okay, there we go. But if you go through all the different readings there, they'll show a valid reading. And you can twist the accelerator and click the side stand up and down, and the works. So that'll just show you if all those sensors are actually functional. So that's useful. You should go through all the switches on the bike and check how they work. So that's good to show you if there's any faulty sensors. So throttle balance is actually for balancing your throttles, which I'm not doing now. Check faults is the main screen you want to look at. This is actually looking at are there any fault codes on the bike, any major faults that the computer can tell you about. And I did look yesterday, and there was none. So it'd be wonderful if the computer tells you exactly what's wrong with the bike, but there are no fault codes. Okay, so that means you have to do things the hard way. One other thing you can do on this is you can actually physically test different components. Now this is a great option. So once it's communicated there. So for example, is the fuel pump working? Once it finishes communications there, we can try it. We can actually click on fuel pump and click on run test and listen. So the test takes a few seconds, but I can hear the fuel pump physically running. Okay, so that we know the fuel pump is functional. Cooling fan, which is not part of our problem, but I'll just show you how it works again. So in that way, you can test all the options here, and most of these are not the problem we have, like headlamp on and off. Purge control valve. I'm not sure about this one. I did try it, and I can't hear anything happening. So I don't know whether that's a sign of a faulty purge valve, and whether that could be part of the problem or not. But I'll have to investigate that manually. So yeah, so it's a very useful program, and we can also reset our service intervals on this as well. And I have done, if you select the kilometers per hour or 365 days, you can say, you can reset that service interval. Yeah. But that's really for servicing. It's not going to help us with the problem at hand. So, yeah, it's a useful program. And unfortunately, it's not actually telling us what the problem is. We have to do that the old-fashioned manual way. But this is certainly the first phase in actually diagnosing the problem. A serious fault should throw up a fault code. It should cause the engine light to come on as well. So that's the first stage in our diagnosis. Stay tuned for part 2. Have a good day. Bye.